All right. Well, good morning, Hillcrest Middle School. It's Principal Dietz here, and it's time for another edition of 7 Questions for a Hawk. And it is my absolute pleasure to have with me none other than Mr. John Collins. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. As we all know, Mr. Collins does, well, actually, frankly, I don't think there's anything at Hillcrest Mr. Collins hasn't done. But he does Maker Lab. He does the drama class, and most important, does the drama production. Anyone who saw Once Upon a Mattress last year was absolutely thrilled. Luckily, it was one of the last things we got to do before we went away, but just an absolutely amazing show. Mr. Collins, how are you doing today?
Doing fine. Enjoying the last few days of summer and having a good time. Wearing my Aloha shirt in celebration of our little meeting here.
Well, I should have been wearing one too. I should have realized that ahead of time right there. But well, I do say though, I do have my Star Wars mask that Mrs. Collins, and I've been wearing this quite a bit. I'm washing it, of course, but wearing it quite a bit all summer. Absolutely love that right there too.
I've got one of those too. We'll have to wear them on Twin Day.
Love it. Well, Mr. Collins, I want to thank you for joining us today for 7 Questions for a Hawk. This is a great opportunity for your future students. Your students are coming up very, very quickly here to get a chance to know a little bit more about you as they come into Hillcrest. So tell me, question number 1. For teachers, this is never an easy question, but what is your favorite part of distance teaching? I know, trust me, there's no teacher who loves distance teaching, but what for you has been your favorite part about distance teaching?
Oh dear. Probably like everyone else, I can work in my pajamas, just dressed from the waist up. That's going to change next week. But,
there we go.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I've gotten accustomed to the elastic waistband.
Isn't it amazing as you get older, you embrace the elastic waistband more and more?
True, it's true.
I tell you, I mean, my athletic shorts and sweatpants got more of a workout these last few months in shelter at home than any other time in years. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, there's so much going on. There's so much stress and just concern and unknown going on in these last few months. So what are you doing for your own personal wellness during this really, really bizarre time? What are you doing to take care of Mr. Collins right there?
Well, I've been exercising a lot more than I have during the school year, just because I feel like I have a little more time to do that. Mm-hmm. And actually, for my mental wellness, I've been working every day, working around my house, cleaning out my garage, cleaning out a barn, organizing things, just kind of getting rid of clutter. It's really therapeutic to kind of organize your life and get rid of stuff that you don't need anymore. And cleaning, I like a clean space.
Yeah.
So those are 2 things I've done for me.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, you like a clean space. I think Miss Benz may want to talk to you about the Maker Lab. That's I think I'm just you know what? I'm glad she's not here right now because she might jump in the conversation. But
well, Mrs. Benz and I have an outstanding working relationship. I like to clutter the Maker Lab, and she likes to organize it. So there's a little push and pull going on, but we understand each other. We've been friends for a long time, and frankly, I need her help in there. It's a big space, and there's a lot of stuff to organize. And, it has become sort of a catch-all space for, people that are working on projects around the campus. Stuff kind of ends up getting put in there. So it's my responsibility to make sure it, is organized and running smoothly.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the one thing about as you saw firsthand this year when it comes to Makerspace. You need, it's not just the things for the equipment and machinery, but it's the storage of the supplies, but also to the projects that are both in process and completed. Where do you store all of these projects? There's so many kids. So many kids took Maker Lab last year.
Yes, it's become really popular. And that's my dilemma. I've got to store materials for projects that we are going to be doing. I've got to store projects that are works in progress for the students, and I got to keep them somehow organized by class so that students can find their work. And that's kind of an ongoing challenge. And then finally, when students finish projects, we don't want to just throw them out or send them home. We like to keep them around and show off the amazing work that the students have been doing. So yeah, there's kind of a balancing act I learned last year of keeping all of those things under control.
Yeah. No, I mean there was definitely I mean definitely with that space and all those things going on, like you said, there is quite a bit of organizational aspect you have to take on to make sure that works right there.
Yeah.
So tell me, if you were able to go back in time, hop in the old time machine, what would your middle school self, 7th grade John Collins, say about distance learning instead of actually being at school to learn?
Oh, I would have hated it. I really, honestly, as a 7th grade me, I'd ride my bike to school every day and I'd hang out with my friends after school. I think 7th grade was the first year that I really started playing music, and I had kind of a little band together with some friends of mine who are still friends of mine.
Nice.
All these years later. And oh gosh, it was very much about socializing and being with friends. And frankly, the middle school where I went had great classes. We had all kinds of really fun electives that I remember fondly. We had an archaeology class and an astronomy class and home economics, which was really fun. I learned how to make an omelet and sew on a button and things like that. So yeah, I would have missed it. Doing it from home is a real challenge for the students. It's hard for them not to be at school where all of the action is and where all of their friends are. And, a school is a tight-knit community, and it's hard to have a tight-knit community remotely.
It's so very, very true. By the way, why don't you give a quick shout out? What middle school did you attend right there?
I went to Vallecito Junior High in Terra Linda, which is kind of a north of San Rafael. Back then it was a 7-8 junior high rather than a middle school. Now I think it's Vallecito Elementary School, if I'm not mistaken. But you and I share a little bit of heritage in that neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we do, sir. Yes, we do, right there. I attended Miller Creek. I attended Miller Creek Middle School.
Other side of the hill.
Exactly right there. But no, just want to make sure we get that shout out. But we didn't have archaeology at our middle school, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's kind of a neat class right there.
Might actually have been a summer school class. I don't recall, but they had summer school there, which was just all kinds of really fun. I took a leatherworking class. I made a belt for my dad, which he still has. I remember PE. We had a section on ballet in PE, and I took ballet for, I don't know, at least a few weeks, maybe a month. I was terrible at it, but it was kind of fun.
But I mean, just to get the opportunity, I mean, it actually, the funny thing is, it actually sounds a lot like the enrichments and electives that we're able to offer here at Hillcrest too.
True.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Things that you wouldn't find at any other middle school around, kind of.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about Hillcrest all along is that it offers all of these wonderful programs and options for students that they're not going to find at other schools. And we're passionate about it. We really put a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of energy into the stuff that's not just the core curriculum. We've got an amazing music program thanks to Nick Pulley. Shout out to Mr. Pulley, who's just truly amazing. Our athletics are fantastic thanks to Mr. Sotiris and Ms. Helton. So yeah, we've got so many great things going on at Hillcrest. It really makes me proud to be part of that community.
Totally, completely, 100% agree with you. Now I know the answer to I can guess the category for this next question from you. But let's see if I'm correct here. If you could be sheltered at home with any famous person or historical figure, living or dead, who would it be and why? Like I said, I can at least know. I got a feeling I know the category for this person, but I'm not sure. Let's see if I'm right.
Well, you know that music is my thing. It's just kind of my life's blood. I'm kind of a not an outstanding musician, but I'm definitely a deep music enthusiast. And I anticipated this question. because I have watched some of your other interviews, and it got me thinking, who would I quarantine with if I could choose one person, living or dead? And I had to go to my favorite band of all time. That's probably backwards in your camera, but
no, actually, boy, you got up there perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's backwards in my camera. And here's the guy. This is Neil Peart, greatest drummer of all time, and kind of an amazing guy. He wrote the lyrics, and he's written bunches and bunches of books and poetry, and he was real influential to me. He passed away back in January, and since I've been a Rush fan since I was 14, I think. He influenced me a lot just growing up, listening to the music and listening to the words, and I learned a lot from him. And he's sort of like a wise old Zen master, kind of a sage that I think I could learn so much from if I were to be able to, just spend some quality time with him. So I anticipated that, and there's my answer. I even had the picture prepared. So
I was going to say, like I said, I knew it was going to be a musician. I said in my mind, I know it's going to be a musician. I know for him, but I kind of had a feeling possibly Rush, because I know we've talked about Rush a little bit. But now the only thing I'm going to say as a hardcore Led Zeppelin fan, we'll have to have a longer discussion around greatest drummers of all time, because I mean, I'm sorry.
There's no Neil Peart without John Bonham, right?
That's John, John Bonham, So that's
I'm a Zeppelin fan too, and there's no Rush without Led Zeppelin. That's for sure.
So tell me, what is one thing that would surprise your students to know about you? What is something that they may not know or might surprise them about you?
They might be surprised to know that I was born in Japan. On a U.S. Army base. My father was a high school principal working for the military for the school program overseas. And so I was born in Japan, as were both of my brothers. And from there, we moved to Korea, and I lived in Korea for 3 years. And then I moved to Germany, and I lived in Germany for 5 years as a kid. So I grew up overseas, and that was a fantastic experience for a kid growing up, because I didn't watch a lot of television because there was only one channel in English, Armed Forces Network, and I read a lot of books, which I think has helped me tremendously in life. And, I met people from all over the world, and I was friends with a really diverse group of kids from all over the U.S. who were stationed overseas, along with their parents who were in the military. So, that's one thing that people might be surprised to know about me. I didn't move to the U.S. till I was 10 years old.
Wow. That is okay. That's there we go. That's a very good one right there, Miss Collins. Very good right there.
You didn't know that about me.
Did not know. That is brand new information right there.
There you go.
Now, was your dad civilian or was he military?
Civilian, yeah. Didn't wear a uniform. He was actually started off as a teacher and became a school administrator pretty shortly after that, after he started. And he was stationed in Japan, and then in Korea, and then in Germany. And around when I was about 9 or 10 years old, he decided that he was going to move his family back to the U.S. so that his kids could have at least some semblance of a normal American childhood. Growing up overseas, though, I think it was a great advantage. I think I got a lot of worldview from that experience.
That's amazing. Thank you. That again. I learned so much about the faculty here at Hillcrest just doing these things. It's so much. It's fun. I don't know if anyone watches in the end, but I know I enjoy it because I learned so much about you all. So, what one word? Now, again, we just learned a lot about you, but what you learned also, though, during this time, a lot about your students. So, yes. What was one word you would describe what you have learned about your students during distance learning? What is one word you would use? Now, again, there's no rules. You need to break it and go more than one word. That's okay too.
Creative. I think creative is the one that comes immediately to mind, because when we were plunged into this quarantine back in March, we had done some preparation, so we weren't completely off guard, but it was a whole new territory for everybody, not least the students who had to figure out how to do it all remotely as we did. And I was just thrilled every week to see what the students would come up with. Teaching the maker classes last spring, my assignments to the students were to solve a problem, do some sort of a project, which I presented to them at the beginning of the week, and take a short video or some photos and turn them in to show me that they had at least attempted the challenge, if not been successful at it. And I was just amazed at what the students produced, given nothing really. They just had what they had at home. It's not like I could provide them with materials or
Mhm.
equipment or tools. All I could do was give them some ideas and some instructions, and they ran with it. And I was so thrilled to see with what they came up with. And frankly, you know, being in the classroom with students is kind of the life's blood of a teacher. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we do it. You know, working with the students every day is that's the payoff. That's what makes it so worthwhile. And I was missing that a lot, and I still miss that. But seeing those little short videos, 15, 20 seconds or
Mhm.
even less, and just seeing the students doing their thing was each time I got to see one, it just made me happy. So that was I'd say creativity is definitely the word to describe how the students handled the challenges of distance learning in the spring.
Mm. I gotta say, I know you shared with me a few of the zip line videos, and I love
Yeah,
putting those up. There was some
yeah,
great
those were
zip line.
some
There's
pretty
some, I
impressive
think
ones.
there was also some marble run videos that came
Yep,
towards the end too.
yeah,
Just again, super creative, and again, just finding things around the house, and that's the best part about Maker too. You don't need to have this fancy equipment. It's just kind of your mind and whatever you can look at things and look at things in a different way and
yep.
do something. So
Yeah, and that's the big challenge is thinking outside the box and solving problems in whatever way you can with whatever you have. So yeah, it's really stripping away all of the technology like the 3D printers and the
yep,
laser cutter and all the amazing great stuff we have.
yep,
It really comes down to problem solving and being
yep,
tenacious and not giving up. Just keep going until it works. And
yep.
that's I think the essence of a maker program. Having talked to some professionals out there, what they're looking for from students that are coming up into the world of work is, not necessarily students who are math whizzes or computer programming whizzes, but students who can solve problems. Any kind of problem you throw at them, they find a creative way to solve it. And not giving up, being tenacious and stick to it and finish the job. And that's a large part of what I think employers are looking for in the future. So I hope to instill some of that in the students.
Love it. Love it. Totally agree. 100%. I think we're getting our kids ready for the real world with that kind of mindset as well. Critical thinking. Finally,
Yes.
last question of the day now, Mr. Collins. What are you looking forward to about the 2020-2021 school year? What are you looking forward to?
I told you this on the phone the other day. I'm approaching this school year with kind of a combination of trepidation because I don't really know what to expect, nor does anybody, um, and enthusiasm because I'm looking forward to seeing how we, as a community, as educators and as students and their families, how we solve this big problem of distance learning. It's going to be hard, and we're going to have some obstacles to overcome. But I'm really confident that we have an amazing team of professionals who are just going to do a fantastic job of providing the best distance learning program we can. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to do that. I mean, specifically to me, how am I going to successfully teach a maker program and a drama class, um, or are we going to be able to have a spring musical? That the spring musical is one of the highlights of my year for the last few
Yes.
years.
Yes.
How is that going to work? Is it going to work? So we need to have some meetings and figure out what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm kind of enthusiastic about how we're going to solve all these these kind of huge problems.
All right. Well, finally, Ms. Collins, is there any message you'd like to send to this new group of students, the students at Hillcrest Middle School as we get ready to start the year? Any message you want to send home?
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all, virtually at least. And I'm enthusiastic about the year we have coming up. And in the words of our fearless leader, Mr. Dietz, soar, Hawks, soar.
Well, Mr. Collins, thank you so much. Really, I love this. Again, I learned so much about you today. Thanks for being a part of 7 Questions for a Hawk. We're looking forward to a great year here. And again, you said it as well. I'm not even going to say it myself, but thank you very much and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.